So you're probably in the market for a dictation or voice typing app, and you're watching this video to see whether Willow is a good option for you. Today, I'll give you a full review and show you some of the features in which I think are well worth noting when checking out this application and why it's slightly different to other tools on the market. If you're in the market for a voice typing app or Willow, you'll find all of the apps and alternatives mentioned in the link in the description, but just be aware there are discounts and rates that we provide above others that you can find in the link in the description exclusive to Tool Finder. So check them out there. I believe you get something like 20% off Willow and even more when you become a member. So I don't think I need to dive into what Willow is. It's a voice typing app. These are becoming a lot more common. They're baked into your keyboard, your laptop, and they allow you to just talk and the dictation appears in front of you in a pretty rapid time. Now, Willow is pretty much like all the others on the market. At the timing of this video, it's priced at $15 per user per month with an annual pricing that's slightly cheap. Again, check out the link in the description if you're interested in a slightly lower rate. If you're a free user, you do get unlimited access to Willow, but that's on their newer, weaker speech model. It's called Frontier Mini if you're interested. And you also get limited access to other features within Willow. The Pro and Business and Beyond gives you access to the Frontier Pro and also unlimited Scribe usage and other capabilities within the app. So first and foremost, I think we need to look at the application. This is the Mac version, and you can configure what side the Willow app appears on, but you can also choose the hotkey. In my case, I've chosen the function key. If you hold it down, it allows you to speak into it, and it will take whatever microphone you're using. Now, I believe they're still working on the AirPods Pro problem, where you can't use your AirPods Pro as a microphone. However, the Mac or Windows microphone works pretty well. So all you have to do is speak into it to get the dictation going. That takes me to the first feature, which is called style matching. Now, this is a really simple feature you can set up within the Willow desktop app. And it allows you to basically choose what type of messaging communication happens within a certain set of applications on your device. So if you're messaging in Slack, it might be much more casual. If you're in email, it might be more formal, and it helps you to refine that per platform you're using. It'll detect that and be able to choose the right styling for it. So when it comes to the speed of this and the accuracy, what are my opinions? I've been a long-time user of another app called Wispr Flow, and for many, this is a very popular one on the market. Now, I find that the Pro plan of Willow is slightly faster and slightly snappier than Wispr Flow. However, for the average user, you probably won't notice the difference. If you're using the Willow free plan, then you probably will because the model is slightly less adapted. But if you're using a Wispr Flow free plan, you will be on their best model, but just on a limited amount of words every week. The thing I did prefer about this application to Wispr Flow is that the actual keyboard app is a lot nicer within that experience and a bit more customizable as well. So as part of this, you get some customizations. There's limited customizations as a free plan, and for pro users, there's quite a lot of customization. You can go into your account and actually manage the dictionary and allow personal shortcuts too. Once you build up your own personal dictionary, Willow will remember that and be able to reference it in the future. There's also an ability to add team members, and the reason why that's useful is because there's a shared collaboration feature. So if you and your team often interact with a client or interact with anybody, then you can share terms with each other, which is a great way to make sure you're not misspelling stuff as you're on the go typing. Largely, Willow's had a lot more success with Teams as well. I know many teams who are using it, including the likes of Uber, and they're using it on scale because typing with your voice is around 3 to 4 times faster than using the keyboard. So within the Willow application, whether you're on mobile or desktop, you have access to this transcription history. Now, inside Wispr Flow, there was a feature where you can actually remove this, or it refreshes every day and that history gets removed. There's no access to this in Willow. You have to either delete all the transcripts, and then obviously the optimization isn't as good. Something I sort of like inside of Wispr Flow, because sometimes I type all my messages in there and it's just nice to know that it's gone and deleted. Although just to note that in Willow, there is a privacy button which allows you to make sure that you're sharing insights with Willow, so it's all secure and all your own. So something else that Wispr Flow doesn't have and other apps like Super Wispr do have is something called an offline model. Now, whilst the offline model in Willow isn't dramatically big, it is decent to have. So if you are on the go and you are constantly using it offline, there is a local model that you can download on your Mac or desktop, as well as your mobile phone, that just stores a baby version of it so that you can use it when you're out of the hotspot zones. Now, this is incredibly helpful because if I want to still use it on the train or anything like that, I can still use my voice for that. The accuracy probably a little bit worse. However, at the same time, having that optionality is a nice thing to have within the app. app. One thing I really like as well is you get statistics at the top to see what dictated words you've done, what streak you are, and your average speed of words per minute. So finally, there is a feature within Willow that has been added more recently that sort of makes it slightly different from Wispr Flow. This feature is called Scribe, and it essentially allows you to just talk to the application like, for example, can you write an email to John about so and so and so? I want to be able to do this and blah, blah, blah. And it basically brings back a response that it believes is in your language, but also allows you to copy and paste it. Now, the reason this type of feature is helpful is because sometimes we do this through prompting chat or Claude and we just talk to it, say, can you revise this email? But instead, you're sort of doing this on the fly. And that's quite nice because you're not jumping between applications, and Scribe allows you to do that. Now, you get 20 scribes within the free plan. However, the pro plan gives you unlimited scribes and allows you to copy over and bring them in to whatever app you're using. So I feel like that's a really unique feature. Now, some of the negatives I think of Willow are that it's not available on Android. The free version does not have an iOS version. So if you are wanting to access the Frontier mini model, which is the free plan, it won't be available on iOS. Overall, this application is really nice. The latency and speed is impressive. The keyboard settings and the way it's set up is really nice. And I like the small abilities like offline mode and the new Scribe feature for helping out. This market's getting incredibly competitive, with even Wispr Flow adding an AI note taker as well more recently, but I thought I'd give you the breakdown of where I think these two applications are at. Again, this review isn't a Wispr Flow versus Willow, but I would say it's one of these ones where if you're looking for offline capabilities, slightly better accuracy, and more unique features that lend itself to dictation, then I would go with Willow. But if I was looking for a bigger universe of abilities, Wispr Flow probably does slightly more of that. So thanks very much. Again, you can find a healthy discount to this below. A big thanks for stopping by in today's video, and do check out Toolfinder, the best tools on the market for your needs, diving into AI and resources like that. So thanks very much, and I will see you very soon. Cheerio.